Tebu ongeza volume. Ongeza volume. Damn. Ongeza volume. Happy new month, boys and girls. This is episode 28 of the Ongeza Volume podcast. 2026 ishaanza kukimbia manze. How are we already in February? Hey. Also, I know this episode was supposed to come out on Thursday. Apologies for the delay. We are trying our best to make sure that you guys get these episodes on time. So mkiona tumechelewa, ilikuwa unavoidable circumstances. If you're joining us for the first time, Ongeza Volume is a platform that loves and appreciates Kenyan creatives. We try as much as possible to amplify wherever and whenever we can. In the previous episode, we had an overview of 2025 in music and events. We are still open to feedback regarding what you want us to discuss or to review. But meanwhile, since mwaka inakimbia kimbi, we can have a look at what January 2026 gave us in events and music. So I'm going to start with the music that was released in January. A lot of singles have been released, so I'll highlight some of them and I'll also highlight the projects that I came across. Ziko Mob. You can also access our weekly playlist in the description of the podcast that you're listening to right now so that you can explore more releases, not just the ones that I'm going to highlight. So there was Tumia Pesa by Watenda Willy, Dilly Darling by Nikita Kering, Kichapo by Mordecai Dex, Iani with Maali Safi, Early Mornings by Mrumbi and Sahela, Horizon by Nduta Notes, Love Like This by Steph Capella, Mr. Black by Boy Black, Malia by Tukukantu, Friend by Don Tambo and Jiru, Farova, Forever by Savara, Blue Sky by Chiru and Clark King, Sambaratika by Yalisen, Wanjirire by Weru. And then the projects that I came across, we have an EP by for Mr. Frank White, Big Man, and 44. It's called 44 Affair. Then an EP by Karun, it's called Home Session. And we have an album by Kasiva Mutua and Ban Isaac, it's called Ngomani. If there's a release we haven't highlighted on our playlist and was released in January 2026, please feel free to share with us via email or DMs. Our email is ongezavolume@gmail.com. We love highlighting these projects and singles on our playlists and on our platforms. Now, the events that we managed to attend in January 2026, brief summaries. There's only two events where I'm gonna give like a detailed review, but for the rest, I can just give you like an overview of how the event went. So first on 8th January, the year started with a bang. We had Shad Mziki performing at BNDLive sessions. He performed an acoustic set where he was playing the acoustic guitar and he had a keyboardist who was also doing tracks. It's so fascinating to see somebody playing the guitar with the left hand. It's quite interesting. It's not a common sight. First time experiencing his recent releases like Kachio Wine, which features Chris Kaiga. He also performed his bangers Akina Sherehe ya December, Wajue Ni Wewe, which usually features Costa Ojwang. You know, sometimes people know these songs, but it's good that they discover the artists behind them. And these live performances are really good platforms for people to discover the artists behind the bangers. On 15th February, the following week, I attended industry talks, and the edition was for event productions, artist bookings, and fan experience. This industry talks is by Anyiko, and the speakers were Queen Gadhoni, Diane Uaya from Good Times Africa, Blanches, and Frankie the Brand from Vibes Only. So these were really enlightening conversations to try and make the event space more holistic and to ensure that who is listening right now has a better and enjoyable experience at events going forward. The full session and discussion is available on Anyiko's podcast or on the Facebook page of Gote. On the same day, we left industry talks and we had Maali performing at BNDLive sessions. He was performing together with the unit band. So at the beginning, Maali started with some R&B covers, and there's this part where, oh my God, Ebe was given like a solo where Maali said, "Ebe on keys," and then you know what Ebe did? Oh my God! So he had a lapel mic that was like around his head and going to his mouth. And so what he did, he connected the lapel mic to the laptop and passed it through a couple of softwares and then through the vocoder. And eventually, when he would sing, his voice would come out like with auto-tune. Like he would play around with the keys and his voice singing along to the R&B song that they were singing to. That was so cool. I've never seen anybody do that before. Able listen to how that part sounded. Mali performed his original music as well. The arrangements are always well done by the unit band. They sauced up a couple of songs and they weren't as predictable. Mali then invited his sister, who is Zinia Manasseh, to perform some of their favorite R&B songs. That was a really cute sibling moment. And you can also find those videos on their socials on Zinia's page. Mali called out Billy Black, who was in the audience. The unit band flowed so well with Billy Black. Kwanza Mark the bassist. Hey. New Lamp gets most of the reception, honestly, when Maali is performing. Let's trade a bunch of bugs for moonlight. I know I haven't been my best, but try. After New Lamp, he called Razorman onto stage and they performed their collaborations. And then later on, Maali finished with an Afrobeat set. That must have been more than an hour, honestly. Maali really gave us his all at that performance. On 21st January, I attended Ochiko and Jiru, who were performing live at Kenyan Peak. Ochiko performed first with an acoustic guitar. He was performing his original music. At some point, he was joined by Modest Chabari for their collaboration, and then he bullied Modest into performing No Balance, and they performed it together. Ochiko went ahead and performed more of his original music. So next was Njiru, who I had not seen perform in such a long time. I think the last time she performed, I must have discussed it on this podcast. To start us off, she called back Ochiko to stage to perform their unreleased track that I love so much. Able listen to it. They said they'll release it soon. I've experienced it twice. Ntawekea YouTube msikia hata nyinyi. Njiru is quite versatile. She was backed by Clark King on the keys and how they brought to life her original music. Some of it is quite chill, and I was actually very curious to see how they were going to perform it, and I wasn't disappointed. She has great vocals, so the experience is like 10 times better. She has her viral hits, Akina Mapenzi, Running, which is an uns track, but they broke it down so well together with Clark. I stay running, 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 performed He Love featuring Yalisen, and he came to stage and they performed together. Ooh, they gelled so well on stage. They then ended the night with what we had been waiting for, Wickedest Wine, featuring Ochiko. So Ochiko came back to stage. And this song is a more recent release. I hope it really blows up more than it has. It got everyone in the building on their feet, dancing, bruh. You just had to be there. And the last event I attended in January on 31st was Kethan Live Experience, the third edition. I remember discussing the first edition in the Madaraka episode. For those who've not listened to it, I'm going to attach it to this episode in the Mwende Mskize. I'll also indicate it on the description so that if you want to find out how the first edition of Kethan Live Experience was, tend of Skioko. Fun fact, the third edition happened at the same location that the first edition happened. That was KNT. I didn't want to get late because they'd said the show gets open from 4 p.m. and I really, really wanted to be there because you guys don't know Kithanolds. Kithanolds ni kama wanalalanga kwa venue the day before. Alafu by the time watu wanakuja set up, it's very easy that you'll find a Kithanol there. So I didn't want to take chances in terms of sitting space. I tried my best to arrive within the hour because I think the show was supposed to start at around maybe 5. So as I came in, I could see there was a booth for Jameson where they were having the mixologists, shout out Akina Simba. They were mixing the cocktails courtesy of Jameson. And then there was a bags and jewelry vendor. And then there was a snacks vendor. And then there was an area that had the bar tables, those drums where you stand and put your drink as you drink and wait. So I asked people, what's happening? What's happening? Kunaendaje? Said hi to a couple of people. And I found out that the show hadn't started and they hadn't opened the venue. But people are going to tickets and then coming back outside to like buy drinks and stuff. So that's what I did. I went inside, got ticketed, and then came back outside to interact with people. Kalai, shout out to Kalai, was doing interviews. So we did a couple of interviews with Kalai. Kuna kaswali alinikona nayo hapo. Kalai. Ni sawa tu. You guys are gonna listen to that interview. Sijui wataiweka wapi. So later on we came to find out that due to unavoidable circumstances, schedule ilichelewa kidogo. So they later on opened the theater for people to go inside. Tukaingia ndani, tukakaa chini, waited a bit more. The schedule was still delayed. So eventually I get a call and then the event producer, who also happens to be my friend, Kadin, asked me to try and interact with you guys. Ndio msikwe jitarish sana. So we went to backstage and then got myself a microphone and then appeared in front of the audience. This was all unplanned, guys. That's why I even had a sweater on my waist because I wasn't prepared to go on stage. But regardless, hey, you'll never find me lacking, bana. Hey, lazima, always prepared. So I got to do a nice little interactive session around Kethan, his artistry, his project, his music, what the fans want from Kethan, and we did that for about 20 to 30 minutes approximately. And then now I went backstage to fetch the next act, who happened to be Ska Poetry. Oh my gosh. She did such beautiful pieces on girlhood. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm definitely going to Ska Poetry's next show. I want to hear more of that. She's so sensual and I love her delivery so much. Alikuwa anasema kitu una feel too like you're there. You can actually imagine what she's talking about. We just kept on clocking it and clapping and hey, jameni. Ska Poetry ni mzee.
The goal is to slow down my life as much as possible. Wake up when my body dies. The goal is conversation pits and brunch with the gullies. The goal is community. The goal is sunsets and mountain tops, beach parties and long skirts and flimsy dresses.
So that was the first opening act. And then Ska Poetry introduced Kethan. So Kethan starts at 6:30 p.m. He starts with a piece while the curtain is closed. I'm still insisting that what he was saying should be posted somewhere. I feel like he was saying some really important stuff that people are not listening to, and it was part of the experience. So if people can experience that afresh, mnaweza post socials on my YouTube or wherever. We'd really appreciate that. I really liked the stage setup. It looked like some sort of living room or a living space. There were some plants, there was a bench, and then there was the instruments, and then hanging from the ceiling were picture frames that didn't have pictures, and some of them were like spinning. So as the different lights were changing, the frame would reflect and they would create such a really nice illusion, especially in the videos. I already did the recap on Instagram stories, so hopefully you guys saw what I am saying. If you don't follow us on socials, please do. We put out some really good content from time to time. So Kethan starts off with looping this type of love. He was playing the acoustic guitar, the mini keyboard, and controlling the tracks, while at the same time he was looping his vocals. He mashed up this type of love with Rudy Jew. Phenomenal. Rudy Jew is the last song in Dr. Flo Will See You Now. Harry, again from Dr. Flo Will See You Now, is very emotive. So he did it with strings only and it felt sufficient. The audience sounded so good while singing along. He'd engage the audience with conversation in between the songs.
Sijui mbona inagonga town, you know, like mnajuana maybe, but it's not good. It's not healthy. But one of my other love escapades involved me falling deeply in love with someone, and then it did end by at least. Hey, at least. Naomba mlima ina face inside my guys. Sometimes I get some luck. But sadly, she traveled away and
Kethan did some oldies, still acoustic, like Wimbo Wetu.
Kumbusha unaweza cheza wimbo wetu. Cheza wimbo wetu. Ukinihitaji wewe cheze wakati wowote.
He then decided to explore Dr. Flo Will See You Now, starting with Mabawa, and the band joined him on stage. I'm glad, honestly, for this edition, he decided to have a band because where the band usually adds some really, really good sauce. On the keys is usually Bloodworth, on drums is Sam Givinji, on lead guitar is Ice, and on bass guitar is Tugi. They delivered all arrangements really well, and the audience's reception to their impact. The moment the band just started, ooh, the crowd went wild. That performance started out a bit loud, but the sound engineers were able to stabilize and balance it out eventually. During Highly Favored, the arrangement was quite different and unique. It started out with drums, and the count was so intriguing. Mbivi joined him on stage, and towards the end, alianza kupreach. It was so hilarious, but also we were claiming it. Tulikuwa tunasema tu amen. Alikuwa anasema from January to December you are highly favored. Tunasema tu hallelujah. Oh, that was a really nice moment. Before the show, I'd posted Kethan performing Maziwa at the first edition, and I really hoped that it was going to be on the set list. And truly, ooh, true to that, it was in the set. Homa Bay sounded so good and so soft. Kwanza Tugi, ebu skiza hii na headphones. Kethan said his band walikuwa anamchekesha before he asked us who was in the mood for unreleased music. And you know us, we are always in the mood for unreleased music. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Guess who the collaborator is in this unreleased track?
I have microphones. So, kuna times when they're telling me jokes, so if you see me laughing, because blood one. But who is in the mood for some unreleased music? Basically about finding someone who makes you feel like you don't have to change yourself, you don't have to be anyone different. So let's let the song speak for itself.
Its arrangement at the beginning, the song is so good, bro. Kethan then did Waza, which I have been obsessed with since its release. I had high expectations of this arrangement. I did express that I felt underwhelmed by this arrangement, and I was informed by the band that it was very, very intentional for the arrangement to be as plain as it was. And I quote, that was the point with Waza. Haikuwa na kelele. When we put a lot of arrangements on a song like Waza, it loses the motif and the motive of the song. That was the approach for the show. And he goes ahead to say that what I was describing wasn't the vision for the particular song. Another band member said that was very intentional. It was literally an experiment, as Kethan said. And then he goes ahead to say, can cheat, can die. We had a whole arrangement. So that makes sense. And this is why I like putting out my opinions, because please correct me. What I'm saying is not gospel truth. I always love to understand where a person is coming from, where an artist is coming from. If I say I had these expectations or I thought this was going to happen, I want you to come and tell me, so this didn't happen because of one, two, three. And at least I'm able to see it from your point of view and not just from the ideology that I have in my head. As I always say, I stand corrected. Don't be afraid to come and tell me what you think or how the situation actually was. So now I understand that their intention for Waza was its simplicity. But then again, aside from the arrangement and everything, as Kethan was performing this song, I know this is going to be a very controversial opinion. You guys have already cooked me on social media regarding this topic, but I'm still gonna talk about it anyway because I haven't said it on this podcast. As Kethan was performing, I was listening to how he was singing, his delivery, and how the band was performing. The band really tried as much as possible to replicate Waza as it is. And what I was getting from that performance was, don't get me wrong, it was imperfection. I'm not saying that the band was not perfect. I'm just saying that the band was human. So you could hear one or two different things from the song. Also, I'm not saying that a performance is supposed to replicate exactly how the song sounds. But as you've heard from them, they were trying to do exactly that. They were just trying to play the basic stuff in the song. So it got me thinking that is how it would have sounded if it was created purely by a human. Hear me out. Hear me out. I think Kethan used AI in some of the parts of Waza. I'm not saying everything. I'm not saying that everything is a prompt because we can clearly hear his voice in the majority of the song. But I'm talking about elements like the background vocals, the instrumentals, the supportive shit in a song. Just think about it. Go and listen to the song and let me know what you think. Because that was a very painful realization to have that Saturday after the performance of Waza, because it kept me thinking, like even 2 days later I was just like, what what was missing? Why doesn't it, things were not connecting, and I was having like all these sparks in my brain, and I was like, there can only be one explanation. Waza is a perfect song. Waza is a perfect song, and that's why even if you try and replicate everything that was done in the song, it cannot sound exactly like in the song. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense. But it really broke my heart knowing that Waza was one of my favorite songs. I'm saying breaking my heart because I've been on a rampage with an artist called 26 after discovering that his two viral songs were actually made by AI, greatly influenced by AI. If you go back to listen to 26's two viral songs, you'll agree with me that it sounds like AI. I even put a poll on Instagram, and a majority of you voted that it has great use of AI. I will repeat this. I have nothing against AI. I have nothing against AI. And the direction that we are going into, it seems like a lot of the Kenyan artists are going to be exploring and using AI. So, me, what I'm just doing right now, I'm trying to do as much research as possible regarding this AI thing because it's really frustrating me. We can't fight it anymore because it's already here. So what can we do? What measures can we put so that we can level the playing ground or the playing field for artists who heavily use AI and artists who don't use AI at all or use AI just to support their artistry? Because unaweza pata hakutakuwa na any regulation around it at all. So what sets apart these artists? Me, if you ask me, I will say live performances because a person who uses AI a lot can't even sit in a studio session with other artists and collaborate or co-write or songwrite because they're used to prompting. They're not able to work together with other artists, especially in this like writing camps and all that stuff. That's one disadvantage. And another one now is not being able to perform that music. So somebody commented on one of my stories and said the value of the human art will go higher. And if that is the good thing that is going to come out of this, then so be it. So be it, honestly. And I know this year, we're just in February, but I'm so scared because there's going to be a surge of the use of AI in Kenyan music. All you can do is just wait and see. We'll just wait and see what the artists decide to do and what direction this takes. Anyway, enough about my AI rant. Nitaanza kuitwa tena AI hater. I'm not a AI hey. I'm not an AI hater. Yes. I just want us to have these open conversations about the use of AI in Kenyan music because it affects the industry one way or another. Anyway, moving on. There was a break after Waza. Before the break, hey, so Kethan finished performing Waza and then he said he's gonna pick a random person from the audience. Akateremka chini, picked a shorty, and then wakapanda na yeye juu stage, and they started dancing together. Very very suggestively, very sensually. The video is up on Kethan's socials if you haven't seen it. Hey, the things we witnessed. Yo. She was going down. She was turning. Kethan was holding her neck. They were pushing each other. I can't even insert. I can't even insert the audio because I was shouting the whole time. I was on the floor, bro. I was on the floor. I wasn't believing what I was seeing. And then at the end, do you know what she did? Akamrukia kwa kiuno na akambeba. Kithan akambeba na wakaenda huko backstage. Kenya walienda kufanya backstage hatujui. Mambo ya wasanii ni ngumu. Wow. Anyway, sisi kama bystanders and observers, we will just consume the art. Sasa tutafanya nini? Onlookers. Anyway, so the break. We went outside, refilled our drinks, interacted some more, and then Ice came to stage and performed. You guys should check out Ice's project. I'm going to attach it to this episode as well. It's available on all DSPs. Kethan and the band came back out after Ice finished performing. That was at 8:10. And the second set started off with Tokea. Honestly, Tokea gives me chills every time because it reminds me of the first edition where he was teaching us the dance style that comes with Tokea. Good times, bro. Good. Well, that was in 2023. And then he performed Gioni. He performed Kesho Kutwa, which is a fan favorite. As always, the crowd went wild. Then he introduced Honsphere onto stage. They came to perform Nawe, which is a collaboration on Dr. Flo Will See You Now. Trust me to lose my little decorum when those boys come to stage. The solo at the end, Yahons, is always so saucy. And Tugi moved forward, akakuja akasimama with the Honsphere members as they played. The audience also tulisimama tukadance. Kethan akakuja huku kwa audience pia kudance na sisi. That was so good. Intro ya Summer inabamba. Summer is a song also on Dr. Flo Will See You Now. And then Bensol came to stage, and the crowd now, they couldn't keep calm. People sang along to Summer. Summer must be, the last time I checked, must have been the most streamed song after Niangalie. But you know, Niangalie was released earlier. So me, in my books, Summer should be the most streamed song. Unless vitu zilibadilika na mwaka mpya. I'll go check. Kulikuwa na kale ka bench nilikuwa nawaambia hapo kwa stage. Again, loved the stage design courtesy of Vireri. So Kethan sat on the ka bench. And when he started performing Malaika, I love a well-revised audience. Okay, Lomax didn't come through though. That's your part ya mtoto mrembo. The arrangement is really smooth. Inasimamisha Malaika. Get it? Get it?
Something special.
Uncle Riz started singing before he appeared. And when he did, zile manduru zenye tulisikia, hey, wamama mnapenda charisma wewe. Kenya really loves charisma. But hakurushiwa bra this time. Nyasaye is a good song. It's a really good song. We were jumping while screaming those lyrics. But this time, the crowd was so tense. Everyone was on their feet. He then called his team to stage. Shout out to Kalai, Kadin, and Ngendo, who work very closely with us. Ongeza volume. Great job, my people. Great job. That was a beautiful experience. To end the show, he performed Niangalie with Wana Vokali, and the crowd sounded so good singing along. Kethan Live experience, the third edition, was a beautiful experience to me. One of a kind, honestly. One last issue that I had that I already also addressed with his team and himself, which I also got another point of view. Oh God, I love learning new things. So I had an issue with the lighting. I've seen some people say that the lighting was good. Yes, it was, but there were some drastic changes here and there. They didn't feel as seamless as we are used to, honestly. So I was later then informed that the light engineer was from KNT, was like a resident light engineer because they were not able to find the light engineer they usually use. Alikuwa engaged, and so I spoke to the one who was supposed to be there, nikamuuliza, and I was like, eh, there was just something off. I couldn't place my finger on it. Showed a couple of videos, and then I was informed that sometimes the light engineers who are used to working at a theater are used to working with skits and plays. And so there's usually a script that they follow. And so you find that if a person is used to that theater flow, they will do exactly that. So the drastic changes go well with theater, with like plays, but they don't go well with music performances. I didn't know that. That was such a new thing for me to learn, and I'm grateful for that information. So it wasn't that he or she didn't do a good job. It was just that it was a different setting and a different type of show. So that also helps me the next time I'm having like an event, and whether it's gonna be a play or a music event, I will know which light engineer to like engage or consult with. It's really good information. That's really good information. Kama umefika mwisho wa hii episode, kama kawaida wewe ni mnoma, wewe ni ule msee na ninakupenda sana. You are a big part of the Ongeza Volume family, and I do appreciate you listening to episode 28. So, the next episode, we're going to talk about Mutoria's album listening party. Yes, Mutoria has released an album called We Don't Need Money to Be Rich. And also, we're going to discuss whether Tasca Project Fame is actually back. So, stay tuned and